Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to AustCham's webinar for today. We're Thursday, the 11th of June, where hopefully, and I think I share everyone's sentiment here, hopefully moving to the COVID-19 pandemic. And with that, we're now starting to look at our topic today, what's next? A look at how Asian markets may look in the post-COVID-19 era. To present on this, we've invited John Evans, Managing Director of Tractus Asia.
So, first of all, Brendan, thank you, and AustCham and Frank and the MFG for the invitation to speak today. I thought that I would share today a little bit about what we're seeing in terms of the recovery and what companies are thinking and doing. That a number of the Asian countries, including Thailand, are on the far right-hand side of this. And quite high up on the mobility index, so recovery and mobility. And if you look at that, of course, Australia's in there. New Zealand has been sort of a bellwether for it. Vietnam is right at the top. COVID-19 has impacted everybody severely. There was a survey done by the Supply Management Institute in March, and there were 700 US multinational companies that were interviewed. And of this, 80% realized at that point they were going to be negatively impacted. 60% realized that they were over-reliant on China's supply chain, which could be really good news for us here in ASEAN. And 45% of them didn't have alternatives. And so the supply chain disruption has been enormous. The other thing that's been a big transformation is HR. And I think, the global HR company Mercer did a survey also, and this was in March too, and they did 2,700 persons, and they had the results that 88% of those companies were working from home, 66% of them had closed their offices, 80% of them were really concerned about productivity, and 97% forecast that travel would be canceled or would not come back anytime soon. This is the fun part to talk about, but not necessarily fun for all of you. What does this mean for businesses? And these lists are by no means inclusive. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to talk about COVID-19, who the winners were, who the losers were, and then there's probably a number of the companies that are in between.
What can some of these companies do? And how does a company go around about diversifying its business away from automotive but still remain in manufacturing? I mean, how does someone do that?
Yeah, that's a good question, Frank. And I think the best example is what is, and I'm not making a recommendation on this, and I'll tell you why. But the best example of what's happened is the demand that occurred for medical equipment, medical supplies, personal protection equipment.
And once again, thanks to John Evans, Managing Director of Tractus Asia, for delivering this session. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.